presentation by Ika, who is planning to do her thesis with me. My name is Dolf de Groot from the Environmental Systems Analysis Group, and I will do my best to help Ika do a really good job in terms of assessing the impact of ecosystem restoration on local communities in Wageningen and Kota. You better pronounce it, so say. You have about 10 minutes for the presentation, and then 5-10 minutes for questions and discussion. Please go ahead.
Okay. So that's why I want to take this title: Impact of Ecosystem Restoration on Well-being of Local Communities in Wageningen and Kota Wageningen Timur District in Central Kalimantan. So this is the outline of my presentation. I will do the introduction to know better about the area and the background, and study objective and research question, methodology and data collection, and also the planning for my research. So to give a context for Indonesia and Kalimantan and Wageningen itself, we know that Indonesia is the third or fourth largest greenhouse gases in the world, and 80% of it contributed by the forest degradation, forest conversion to another land use, and also the peatland. And in Central Kalimantan itself have 15% contributed for the emission, for the greenhouse gases emission, and Wageningen is part of it. I don't have any. So my project area is in here. This is the Central Kalimantan. This is actually the south part of, but we call it Central Kalimantan. So this is several tracts of the land use there, of the forest there. Forest converts to the mining, to the agriculture, and we have a tract, for example, illegal logging from oil palm plantation there. So this is the tract that we face there, and this is the example of the forest conversion. Forests convert to the agriculture. Forests that have a potential for mining convert to the mining area. And this also the example of the illegal logging that happened there. And so that the ecosystem restoration is known as the process to remove the threat of the ecosystem and recover from the degraded and destroyed forest into to be recovered to have the good quality of the forest. And it's also providing the ecosystem service. And I remember in the COP 2015, our president and our Ministry of Forestry and Environment stated that the ecosystem restoration as one of the solution of the forest degradation, and this is part of the REDD mechanism. So to have a clear, there's no. This is the Wageningen project.
Is a critical ecosystem, almost twice the size of New York City. 200,000 hectares of peat swamp forest. There are thousands of species, some on the brink of extinction. Indigenous communities have lived here for generations, but today, short-term economic interests threaten this land, endangering wildlife, humanity, and our planet. The Wageningen project aims to protect biodiversity, improve the lives of rural communities, and mitigate the impacts of climate change. We are the custodians of a delicate, life-giving ecosystem. We can make a difference together.
So this is the plans of a Wageningen project. This is one of the initiative from the private sector for REDD plus in Indonesia, and it's managed about 1 150,000 hectares of production forests to be recovered, to be forests that have credit reference level. And it started on 2010 and it will be finished on 2017. It's actually initiated long before this 2010 because the difficulty in the land acquisition. So that's why they operationalized at 2010. And this is the aims of the cutting restoration project. They want to sequester the carbon emission, the carbon dioxide. I'm sorry. It's expected for 7.5 million greenhouse gases, and it aims to stabilizing the water and providing clean water and protect the biodiversity and offering the welfare of the people in the surrounding area. And this is the recent condition of the community livelihood. They get ecosystem service. Ecosystem service here is the benefit that they take from the ecosystem. They take rice. They have agriculture there. They take rubber. They take timber. But then by implementing this project, is it a threat or opportunity for the community, for the livelihood? So we know that ecosystem restoration have a lot of benefit for the ecology, for the ecosystem. But what about people? Are they receiving benefit, or they have to suffer from the negative impact from this project? So that's the study objective for my research. I want to assess the local community perspective on the changes of ecosystem service and investigating the impact on well-being of the community member in the project zone. So my research question, the first is I want to know how the ecosystem service changed before and after the implementation of ecosystem restoration project in Wageningen district, and I want to know who are the beneficiaries group of this ecosystem restoration project, and what are the impact of the ecosystem services change in human well-being. So the selected area that I want to focus is this tree, the blue dots there. I select these villages based on the baseline survey that conducted by the PTRMU. PTRMU is the owner of this project. So they already done this baseline survey for investigating the several villages adjacent to the project that have a dependency on the forest. So there's Mendawai, Kampung Melayu village, and Telaga village are the focus of my research. So this is the conceptual framework. The driver of change. This is the explaining the linkage of each part of this concept. In this part, the ecosystem restoration management as a driver of change. So this management and activities can affect the ecosystem service. So by conducting and implementing this intervention to the ecosystem, it can affecting the ecosystem service, the quality and quantity of the ecosystem service, and it will affecting the benefit of that people can take from the ecosystem. And the benefit of the ecosystem service, of course, it can be linked to the local human well-being, to the local well-being of the community. For example, the necessary material for good life, health, and the security of their life. And this also, the human well-being also can change the driver of change, because, for example, if the community have for example, high poverty, they don't have skill for doing the economic activities, so that they can encroach the forest or distract and degrade the forest. So it can be linked to the driver of change. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the summary of methodology and data collection. So to know which ecosystem service, because we know there's a lot of ecosystem service that based on the TEB, there's more like more than 22 types of ecosystem service, and each part have a separate example of it. So to know which ecosystem service that I want to prioritize and I want to investigate more about the changes and impact for the community, I make this diagram. So only the ecosystem service that have a linkage with human well-being will be analyzed. And this part is the stakeholder and beneficiaries. I want to know, but this actually two analysis. The first is stakeholders and the second is beneficiaries. Even the beneficiaries is part of the stakeholders, but stakeholder here is for is to know the complex relationship between the stakeholders, because we know in natural resources management we have a complex actors. They have different objectives, different interests. So that's why I want to do this stakeholder analysis, and these beneficiaries will be as the entries of the social impact assessment. So after knowing which ecosystem service that I want to investigate, and then I want to know the changes before and after the implementation of project, and then I want to know the impact of ecosystem service on human well-being from the beneficiaries group of the ecosystem service itself. And this is my planning. I start in this August, and I want to finish it in February. I hope so. So this in this September I will have a field work. Actually, I divided into 3 villages. So from September to December, because I will do observation, participatory observation, and interview, and FGD, focus group discussion. So I decided into 3 per villages. And yeah, I will have finished on February. Okay, that's my presentation. So the floor is yours for advice.
Thank you. First, an applause for the presentation. Which I think was very clear in terms of the objectives of your research. I don't know to what extent you were all familiar with this concept of ecosystem services. How people depend on ecosystems, and ecosystem restoration is of course aiming at restoring the ecosystem, and then the question is how does it affect local communities. The last part, of course, you also have not that much time to explain about what you're going to do, but maybe on the methodological side and how you're going to collect your data, there may be some questions. But maybe you have other questions, please. Go ahead. Yeah?
Is it just a qualitative study, or do you have some quantitative aspects to say? I was not very clear.
So it's for the first, it's not really sophisticated quantitative, but then I by comparing this ecosystem service before and after, I do compare the data with the performance indicator. For example, the timber, maybe they can get timber from the forest before the implementation of the ecosystem service. Maybe they get like 10 ton per day per hectare, and then now they cannot get the timber. Maybe it's reducing like 1 ton per hectare. So it's just like a simple quantitative analysis, but not really sophisticated. So I really combining this analysis, quantitative and the qualitative analysis.
And maybe you had time to read the proposal which was sent around yesterday. I don't know if you received the invitation per email. Because there is a bit more information about indeed the data collection and the quantitative part. For each of those ecosystem services there are different indicators. But of course in only a short fieldwork period it's not so easy to collect a lot of this type of quantitative data. But I will do her best to come back with as many numbers as possible. Other questions?
You selected 3 villages. Do you expect to encounter like differences between the villages, or is it just 3 villages to get more data?
Actually, this 3 villages are based on the villages that really highly dependent with the forest. So it has it's not really significantly different, but they have a different, like for example, for economic activities. The first one, in the lower part is they collecting the timber, but the other part they do the fisheries. It's different, but not really significantly different.
And are there also like, I don't know, other villages that are further in the process of the project, of that have started earlier with the project? Because I don't know, but that also could maybe be interesting to see, like villages that adopted the program earlier and villages that just started. So then it's maybe also another way to see the before and after effects better.
Thanks for the advice. I actually the preliminary selection of this villages based on the baseline survey, but then one of the owner of this project like giving advice to consider more about the difference of the villages, because some villages in these 3 villages actually just just start to agree with this area just like 2 years ago. So I mean, maybe there's not really impact that can be seen from this analysis if we choose these villages. So
So all 3 villages that you choose have been engaged already for longer?
No, one of it is not really long. The upper part, because they still have like negative stigma about the restoration, because this area is this ecosystem restoration was initiated by the private, and the private is usually just considering the business and the profit, so they not really agree to join this area.
Which might be another interesting part of your research, to find out if their perception has changed among the villages that have been engaged longer in the process indeed. And your point to compare how long they have been exposed and involved in the project is an important aspect. Other questions, maybe 1 or 2, because you used a little bit more than 10 minutes for your presentation, so officially we should finish now, I think, but if you have 1 or 2 more questions, then that's okay.
Just to be sure, the name of the whole district is the 2 names, right?
2 names.
Yes.
It's actually 2 districts.
Okay.
Yeah. To the Wageningen and Kota Wageningen, but they usually call the project to be like a very short Wageningen project, but it's actually lays on 2 districts.
And are there, I don't know, but are there any like policy differences between those 2 districts?
No, because this already granted as from the Ministry of the Forestry to this
national
to this. Yeah, the national
Oh,
ministry is national.
Yeah.
So this already granted for this company, so that's why it's like you buy something, buy the forest.
Okay, then I understand.
Okay, then thank you all for coming, and I'm sure we all wish you good luck with your field work, and hopefully you will be back in 6 months to listen to the results. See you then.
Sentrum. Digital.
Yeah, mine also. End of October or something.
This is my first one.
And when you present, so your proposal. I think you already started.
No, I haven't started yet.
You already started?
Yes.
Yeah? What is your topic? That's really nice, yeah. But I think when you speak English, you will speak really slowly. Because you say the name.
Oh, yeah.
Really difficult to follow.
Yeah, thank you. We will make a seat before you leave. Okay, I will but let's go.
Yeah, let's try to do something else then.
Yeah.
Say goodbye.
Yeah.
Do you
Thank
want
you
to
guys.
go party?
Yes.
It's a party.
We can have party.
Yeah.